Welcome back. This is Good Morning Namibia. Now, Namibia Needs Me is an initiative jointly implemented by the Namibia Institute for Democracy, the NID, and the Hanns Seidel Foundation. The NID, as part of the Namibia Needs Me project, will be having a civic education community dialogue event in Otjiwarongo today. Madam Naita Hishoono, the Executive Director at the NID, now joins us telephonically with more. Herzlichen guten Morgen.
Good morning, Denver. Good morning to our viewers and listeners.
How are you? How's Otjiwarongo on this gift of a Tuesday morning?
Excuse me?
Doing on this gift of a Tuesday morning? Are you able to hear me?
Understand. Am I able to?
Are you able to hear me? Are you doing well this morning?
Yes. I'm doing well. I can hear you. How are you doing? How's everybody in the studio doing?
I'm doing well too, thank you. Everybody in studio seems to be doing well too. Thank you very much. Moving to the business of the day, please talk to us about the main objectives of the Civic Education Community Dialogue event scheduled for today.
All right, Denver. You know, Denver, that we are living in a democratic country, right? And that democracy means this is a rule by the people, for the people, and we are guided by our supreme law, the Constitution. So the main aim of our community dialogue is to engage the community into decisions that affect them. We want the citizens to understand that it's very crucial and important to work with the regional and local authorities, their councillors, the administrative staff in the council, in the municipality. We want the citizens to understand that there's a lot of community dialogue or meetings offered by the municipality and by the regional council, which they can attend to discuss their issues. You know, one of the big issues in our country is unemployment, and especially youth unemployment, and it especially affects women disproportionately, meaning more young women are unemployed than men, and more youth are unemployed than elderly people, because most of our people are young people. So the discussion, the community dialogue today in Otjiwarongo, the topic is employment creation, employment opportunities in the larger Otjiwarongo region. So we invited different stakeholders from private sector, from government, and community activists to come and discuss with the citizens of Otjiwarongo, especially now Otjiwarongo, what employment opportunities are there. What is it that the council is offering on assistance for citizens? What development programs are there? What community programs are there? What is it that the council is doing for me as a citizen? What can I do as a citizen to have myself informed on specifically the programs, the committees, and other departments that are there in the council, in the municipality, and in the regional council?
Thank you very much for that comprehensive overview. Perhaps we should take one slight step back. Why is civic education so important for the NID and the partner organization, the Hanns Seidel Foundation?
You know, then that's not only important for us, it's specifically important for the citizens, for the Namibians and people who chose to make Namibia their home. Civic education is that type of education that informs you about any processes and institutions that are offering specific services. Like, let's just take a very simple example. Denver, do you realize how we are all driving in the morning to work? And if you're sitting in a car, in a taxi, wherever you're sitting, all of a sudden you see people walking and they're dressed in dark and they are not visible. They are not wearing reflectors. So the civic education we would need here is for MVA, motor vehicle assistance, or the Road Funds Administration to inform citizens, be visible. You know, Denver, do you always see that when I drive in the morning to work or I drive the kids to school and I'm like, why are people not wearing visible markers, wearing visible clothing so that you don't bump them, or so that they don't become victim of an accident. So that's just one aspect of civic education, educating citizens to be safer on the road. Another form of civic education is during COVID, when the virus broke out, we needed to be protected, we needed to be informed, we had to stay indoors, we had to wear masks. That's also a type of civic education, but in terms of health. The same we had with TB and HIV/AIDS. What do you do? The HIV/AIDS from the 90s, we all learned ABC, abstain, be faithful, condomize. That is a type of civic education, but in the health aspect. And for NID and HSF, what's important for us that citizens understand governance and the governance structures and how government works, because the government is not working in isolation. It's the government that we vote for and that we have to hold accountable and that we need to inform ourselves on how it works and operates, because it's a service provider. There's a social contract between our government, our private sector, civil society, and us citizens. And that social contract means we're paying taxes as citizens, and therefore we're getting roads, hospitals, schools, and other services by government. You understand? So it's very important that you understand civic education is not just this sort of education that wants to bother you, but it's an education that wants to inform you on a particular issue that you need to know at that stage and in future, so that you can claim services, so that you're aware what role you play as a citizen in the larger part of the country, and that you understand that it's informative. It can be traffic, it can be environment, it can be health, it can be governance, it can be anything, financial literacy, media literacy. It's basically an extension of adult education and formal education, but on a daily. That's why it's important for us, for citizens, to understand.
Please help us understand why this intervention is specifically scheduled for Otjiwarongo in the Otjiwarongo region.
Yes, this intervention was conducted in different regions. We had this in the Karas region, in Luderitz, in Katima Mulilo, Zambezi, in Kurenkuru and Rundu, Kavango East and West, in Swakopmund and Walfish Bay. So this is just us moving forward with covering different parts of Namibia to have these citizens' engagement. So it's now just Otjiwarongo's turn. It's Otjiwarongo's turn. It's part of a larger project and activities that we're conducting all over the country.
Please walk us through the format of the engagement to ensure that you engage local residents and make their voices heard.
Yes. The dialogue today is a form of a panel discussion. It will take place in Orvotoveni at the Sandfelder Hall in Otjiwarongo, very close to where most citizens live in Otjiwarongo. It will start at 3 o'clock sharp. We will have an introduction and of the project and of why we are there, and then we will talk to 4 different representatives from Otjiwarongo, from the Otjiwarongo region. There's a member from the private sector. There are 2 members from, one is from regional, one is from local authority. And we're talking to the chief regional officer of the Otjiwarongo region. We're talking to the mayor. We're talking to a community activist. And we're talking from a representative from the private sector, who will all take us through what is it that they are offering in terms of employment for citizens. What is it that citizens can benefit from? And then we will have a Q&A, question and answer session, where the citizens can interrogate their decision makers, their private sector, their civil society representatives on issues affecting them, especially in terms of employment. Because, you know, we have the National Youth Service, which offers employment from government side. We have private sectors offering internships and trainingships and other means of employment and getting to know the sector. We have civil society organizations working with volunteers and trainees, and this is all the information that citizens need to get to know and need to understand, that there's a service offered to you. Are you aware of it? When you see, especially now with the development of oil and gas, okay, you would think oil and gas is far from Otjiwarongo, but it's a discussion we have in the country. What opportunities are there for young people? What scholarships are being offered? So this is what we're going to discuss. And in the end, we will also, of course, want to know, we have a day to go register. Are you registered? Did you go and register to vote?
3 days, madam.
This is just a question. Excuse me, how many days?
3 more days left. By this afternoon, when you engage the community, it will be 2 and a bit days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has a chance until the 1st of August to go and get that specific card that will give them the opportunity to vote for their next leader, for their next president, for their next MPs, members of parliament, and next year, of course, for their next councillor in the region and the next councillor in the municipality, in their locality, and by extension in the National Council. So we're going to wrap up with that, and it's about 2.5 hours that we're engaging the citizens, and they are engaging their decision makers.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your continued efforts to strengthen democracy in the land of the brave. May the deliberations this afternoon be a resounding success.
Thank you so much, Denver, and we hope the people in Otjiwarongo are coming out in numbers to engage their decision makers.
We hope so too.
We sincerely hope that they use the last 2 days to get registered.
Thank you so much. Madam Naita Hishoono, she's the Executive Director at the Namibia Institute for Democracy, talking to us about a civic education engagement that will be taking place at Otjiwarongo this afternoon.